Namaste, Dandavat Pranam. We are here reading Śrīmad Bhāgavatam by the instruction and grace of our spiritual master, Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Śrīpad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj. We are also paying our humble Dandavat Pranam to Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada for providing us this wonderful commentary and translation of Bhagavatam, and following the guidance of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, we are praying to Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati has told us that unless we can learn something about Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī within Bhagavatam, then our study has been for waste if we haven't done that. So keeping this in mind, we are praying to Rādhārāṇī. Yadi seva vanchitasya ma yasya kripaya vayam labema sarvam prapnuma prayojanam damni Shri Bhagavat pade Krishna sambandhi sarvam cha yadi na jani mahe tutam astadashasu sahasreshu shlokanam Bhagavat oktishu radharanimna vindamatada Nishphalam Bhagavatadhyayanam Radhikaya Kripam Vina Vyartasyat Sarva Parishrama. If we are cheated out of serving that personality whose mercy awards us everything we need, including residence in the Lord's holy Dham and all things connected to Krishna, and if we cannot understand or discover Radharani within the 18,000 verses of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, then our study of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam has been pointless. Without the mercy of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, all our efforts are in vain. So we are continuing our reading today from Canto 5, The Creative Impetus, Chapter 7, The Activities of King Bharata, Text 9. Yatraha vava bhagavan harir adhyapi tatratyanam nijajananam vatsalyena sanidapyata icharupena. At Pulaha Ashram, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari, out of his transcendental affection for his devotee, becomes visible to his devotee, satisfying his devotee's desires. Purport. The Lord always exists in different transcendental forms. As stated in Brahma Samhita 5.39, Ramadi Mortishu Kalani Yamena Tishtan Nan Avataram Akarod Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Svayam Samabhavat Parama Pumanyo Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. The Lord is situated as himself, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he is accompanied by his expansions like Lord Rama, Baladev, Sankarsana, Narayan, Mahavishnu, and so forth. The devotees worship all these forms according to their liking, and the Lord, out of his affection, presents himself as Archa Vigraha. He sometimes presents himself personally before the devotee out of reciprocation or affection. A devotee is always fully surrendered to the loving service of the Lord, and the Lord is visible to the devotee according to the devotee's desires. He may be present in the form of Lord Rama, Lord Krishna, Lord Nrsimhadev, and so on. Such is the exchange of love between the Lord and his devotees. Text 10. Yatrashrama padanyubhyo yato nabhibir drikshach chakrais chakranadi nama sarit pravara sarvata pavitri karoti. In Pulaha Ashram is the Gandaki River, which is the best of all rivers. The Shalagram Shila, the marble pebbles purify all those places. On each and every marble pebble, up and down, circles like navels are visible. Purport. Shalagram Shila refers to pebbles that appear like stones with circles marked up and down. These are available in the river known as Gandaki Nadi. Wherever the waters of this river flow, the place becomes immediately sanctified. Text 11. Tasmin vava kilasa ekala pulahashramo pavane vividha kushuma kishalaya tulasi kambuhi kandamula Falopaharaischa samihamano Bhagavata ārādhanam vivikta uparata vishaya bilasa upabrato pashama param nivritim avapa. In the gardens of Pulaha Ashram, Mahārāja Bharata lived alone and collected a variety of flowers, twigs, and tulsi leaves. He also collected the water of the Gandaki River, as well as various roots, fruits, and bulbs. With these he offered food to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva, and worshipping him he remained satisfied. In this way, his heart was completely uncontaminated, and he did not have the least desire for material enjoyment. All material desires vanished. In this steady position, he felt full satisfaction and was situated in devotional service. Purport. So before we read the purport, so at the start of every Bhagavatam reading, we recite, about Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, saying that we need to learn something about Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī in Bhagavatam. Otherwise, it's pointless to study Bhagavatam. And the reason that's a little difficult is because Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī's name is not actually mentioned directly in Bhagavatam anywhere. So, Śrīpad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj has explained that ultimately Bhagavatam is giving the development of rasa leading up to 10th canto with the Madhurya rasa. And in that way we can learn something about Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, who is, the perfect embodiment of Madhurya rasa. But it's also worth noting that this word ārādhanam, which means worshiping, this word is related to Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī's name, Rādhā, who worships the best. Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī is who worships the best, and the word for worshipping in general is ārādhanam. So, purport. Everyone is searching after peace of mind. This is obtainable only when one is completely freed from the desire for material sense gratification and is engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati. Worship of the Lord is not at all expensive. One can offer the Lord a leaf, a flower, a little fruit, and some water. The Supreme Lord accepts these offerings when they are offered with love and devotion. In this way, one can become freed from material desires. As long as one maintains material desires, he cannot be happy. As soon as one engages in the devotional service of the Lord, his mind is purified of all material desires. Then one becomes fully satisfied. Savhai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhaktir adhoksaje ahoy tu kya pratihata yayatma suprashirati vasudeve bhagavati bhakti yoga prayojita janhayatyasu vairagyam jnanam chayad ahoitukam. The supreme occupation or dharma for all humanity is that by which men can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendent Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted in order to completely satisfy the self. By rendering devotional service unto the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. Bhagavatam 1.2.6 through 7. These are the instructions given in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, the supreme Vedic literature. One may not be able to go to Pulaha Ashram, but wherever one is, one can happily render devotional service to the Lord by adopting the processes mentioned above. Text 12. Tayetam avirata purusha paricharyaya bhagavati pravar dhammana nuraga bara juta hridaya sartilaya praharsha again atmani udbijamana roma pulaka kulaka outkantya pravrta pranaya Baspa nirudha valako nayana evam nijaramana runa charanar avindayan nudhyana parichita bhakti yogena paripluta paramahalada gambira hridaya hradavagadha dishanastam Api kriyamanam Bhagavat saparyam na shasmara. That most exalted devotee, Mahārāja Bharata, in this way engaged constantly in the devotional service of the Lord. Naturally, his love for Vasudeva Krishna increased more and melted his heart. Consequently, he gradually lost all attachment for regulative duties. The hairs of his body stood on end, and all ecstatic bodily symptoms were manifest. Tears flowed from his eyes, so much so that he could not see anything. Thus he constantly meditated on the reddish lotus feet of the Lord. At that time his heart, which was like a lake, was filled with the water of ecstatic love. When his mind was immersed in that lake, he even forgot the regulative service to the Lord. Purport. When one is actually advanced in ecstatic love for Krishna, 8 transcendental blissful symptoms are manifest in the body. Those are the symptoms of perfection arising from loving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Since Mahārāja Bharata was constantly engaged in devotional service, all the symptoms of ecstatic love were manifest in his body. Looks like there's a problem with the website.
I was also facing this with Vedabis.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. Text 12. Taitam avirata purusha paricharyaya bhagavati pravardhamana nuraga bara druta hridaya sartilya praharsha vigen atmani udbidhyamana roma pulaka kulaka outkantya pravrta pranaya Bashpa nirudha valoka nayana evam nija ramanaruna charanara vindanu dhyana parichita bhakti yogena paripluta paramahalada gambira hridaya hradava gadha dishanastam api kriyamanam Bhagavat saparyam na sasmara. We read this already. Sorry, so text 13. Right. Yeah. Itam drita bhagavad vrata anye yagina vasashanu savanabhishekardra kapisa kutila jatakala pena chaviro chamana suryarcha bhagavantam Hiranmayam Purusham Ujihane Surya Mandalebu Patistan Etad U Hovacha. Mahārāja Bharata appeared very beautiful. He had a wealth of curly hair on his head, which was wet from bathing 3 times daily. He dressed in a deerskin. He worshipped Lord Narayan, whose body was composed of golden effulgence and who resided within the sun. Mahārāja Bharata worshipped Lord Narayan by chanting the hymns given in the Rig Veda, and he recited the following verse as the sun rose. Purport. The predominating deity within the sun is Hiranmaya, Lord Narayan. He is worshipped by the Gayatri mantra, Om Bhur Bhurvasvaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. He is also worshipped by other hymns mentioned in the Rig Veda. For instance, Jaya Sada Savratri Mandala Madhyavarti. Within the sun, Lord Narayan is situated and he has a golden hue. Text 14. Paro Raja Savitur Jata Vedo Devasya Bhargo Manashidam Jana Surita Sada Punar Avisya Chaste Hamsam Gridharanam Nirshad Ringiram Ima. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated in pure goodness. He illuminates the entire universe and bestows all benedictions upon his devotees. The Lord has created this universe from his own special potency. According to his desires, the Lord entered this universe as the Supersoul, and by virtue of his different potencies, he is maintaining all living entities desiring material enjoyment. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who is the giver of intelligence. Purport. As the predominating deity of the sun is another expansion of Narayan, who is illuminating the entire universe. The Lord enters the hearts of all living entities as the Supersoul, and he gives them intelligence and fulfills their material desires. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Sarvasya chaham hridishani vishto. I am sitting in everyone's heart. Bhagavad Gita 15.15. As the Supersoul, the Lord enters the hearts of all living entities. As stated in Brahma Samhita 5.35, Andantarasam paramanu chayantarasam. He enters the universe and the atom as well. In the Rig Veda, the predominating deity of the sun is worshipped by this mantra. Dhyaha sada savitri mandala madhyavarti narayana sarasi jasana sanivishtaha. Narayan sits on his lotus flower within the sun. By reciting this mantra, every living entity should take shelter of Narayan, just as the sun rises. According to modern scientists, the material world rests on the sun's effulgence. Due to the sunshine, all planets are rotating and vegetables are growing. We also have information that the moonshine helps vegetables and herbs grow. Actually, Narayan within the sun is maintaining the entire universe. Therefore, Narayan should be worshipped by Gayatri Mantra or Rig Mantra. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 7th chapter of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, entitled The Activities of King Bharata. Is it still bad? Okay. So before we finish our reading for today, was there any comments or questions or anything to share from the assembled devotees?
Hare Krishna. Guru.
Hare Krishna.
Which is the Gandaki river which was mentioned.
Mhm.
It is in Nepal, right?
Yeah, it's in Nepal.
Okay.
So all Shalagram Shilas are coming from Nepal today.
Yeah. Also, Prabhuji, like I have heard, like in this Gayatri mantra, Bhakti Rakshashri Maharaj just translated it a bit differently, not like not for sun. Like we say Gayatri mantra is for sun, but he says I don't know because I am not mantra initiated, so maybe you have better idea. Like he has written a book also explaining different Gayatris according to our context, Gaudiya Sampradaya.
Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj has given a very special vision of Gayatri. So Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar means guardian of pure devotion. And there is one tape where Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada was visiting Srila Sridhar Maharaj at his Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mutt ashram in Navadvip, and Prabhupada is heard speaking, I believe in Bengali, to Sridhar Maharaj, and he says that our guru, because they both have the same guru, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. So Prabhupada says to Sridhar Maharaj, our guru Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati told me that one day our devotion, our line's devotion will be saved by Srila Sridhar Maharaj's line. So he's emphasizing that Srila Sridhar Maharaj's conception of bhakti is incredibly pure. In fact, he is the guardian of pure devotion in a very literal way. So he is seeing everything from the highest prayojan. You know, in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings, there are 3 sections. Where we are right now, what is our constitutional position? This is Sambandha Gyan. Then is the goal. Once we know where we are in our constitutional position, what is the highest fulfillment of our position? That's prayojan, the highest fulfillment. And then abhideya is how to go from where we are to where we want to go, how to go from sambandha to prayojan. That process is called abhideya. And we're told that our sambandha acharya is Sanatan Goswami, our abhideya acharya is Rupa Goswami, and our prayojan acharya is Raghunath Das Goswami. So prayojan means what is our highest goal, what is our highest prospect in our development of bhakti. And it's called, that goal is called Radha Dasyam, is becoming a servant of the servant of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj, as the guardian of pure devotion, saw everything through Radha Dasyam, including the Gayatri mantra. So he could explain the Gayatri mantra in such a way that Radha Dasyam was present there. So if you have an opportunity to read that, it's very nice. Very purifying for our mind and heart, although we might not be able to properly understand the depths of what he's saying there. Nonetheless, we can pay our obeisance there and, aspire to serve that mood that he is offering in that Gayatri mantra explanation, that very special explanation he's given.
Thank you very much for that clarification. Also, which you mentioned, like Abhidaya is the process in between Sambandh and Prayojan. How to reach to Prayojan.
Yes.
Okay. So like first we will know Sambandh, and then we will know Prayojan, and then we will take systematic steps. Those are called, that is Abhidaya, like the 9 stages of Bhakti.
Right.
Okay.
So, like for instance, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, when Mahaprabhu is giving lessons to Sanatan Goswami, the first thing Sanatan Goswami asks is Kayami, right? Who am I, and why am I suffering the threefold miseries of Adhyatma, Adideva, and Adhyatma, Adideva, and
Adibhautik.
Adibhautik. Yes, thank you. Why am I suffering these threefold miseries, and who am I? So this is the very first thing we can ask. This is the Sambandha. Who are we? We are. So, and then what does Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say? what he gives us is Sambandha Gyan in response to Sanatana Goswami's question. He says, Jivera Svarupoi Krishnera Nityadas Krishnera Tatasta Shakti Beda Bed Prakash. So the Jiva is Tatasta Shakti, one with and different from Krishna. Our constitutional position is this marginal potency. So we have the opportunity. So that also answers the question, why are we suffering threefold miseries? Constitutionally, we are this Tatasta Shakti. We have the opportunity to go deeply into freely choosing to cultivate love for Krishna and giving all aspects of ourself for that relationship. But because love requires freedom, it can't be forced. So that means the scope for an existence where we don't choose that love must also exist, which is Krishna's external energy. So in this marginal position, we can either go towards that loving relationship with Krishna or away from it. And so when we go away from it, we experience those threefold miseries. But this is our sambandha. So all transcendental knowledge, which is describing the qualities of Krishna and describing the qualities of the jiva in relation to Krishna, that's all sambandha gyan. And then finally, Srila Rupa Goswami, right? He gives us Bhakti Rasa Mrita Sindhu, where he gives us all the different processes of devotion, right? The nectar of pure devotion, Bhakti Rasa Mrita Sindhu, the nectar of pure devotion. Bhakti Rasa.
Ji, Prabhuji.
So that's Abhideya.
So Prayojan is, what is Prayojan? Prayojan is knowledge about spiritual world or
No,
different activities.
Prayojan is not knowledge. I mean, to know in a general way what the goal is very different from attaining that goal, which is an experiential. That's on the experiential level. That's on the feeling. That's on the level of the heart. To actually have that bhakti lata bij, that creeper, the bij, the seed of that devotional service that we get from Guru, to have that actually fructify in the spiritual world, and the fruit is that actual love not only for Krishna, but ultimately for Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, to serve her servants, to serve in the line of Lalita, who is Radharani's best servant, and Rupa Manjari, who is serving Lalita. And of course, Rupa Manjari means Rupa Goswami in Gaura Lila. So to serve in that line, to serve in the disciplic succession coming from Rupa Goswami, which means Rupa Manjari, Lalita Devi, and ultimately Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, that's what brings us to ultimately that platform of Radha Dasyam, where cent% we are, every atom of our being is correspondingly serving the Supreme. Every thought that we have is focused on executing that service in a very careful and thoughtful and sweet way, where it's saying Lalita Devi is stressing so much, even if she sees a bead of sweat appear on Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī's forehead from serving Krishna so intently, Lalita can't even tolerate that. She needs to help. She needs to wipe that bead of sweat off, and she needs to relieve any kind of tension or austerity that Radharani is feeling. She needs to take that burden away so Radharani is not experiencing so much burden. So that's what we're told about Radhadasyam, but we can never pretend to have that. We can only hear these things and aspire sincerely. Lauyam, to have longing, Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri always emphasized this word lauyam, to have longing for that. That's the only way we can eventually get that, is to just long for it, have a sincere, intense desire for it, and to do our best to move in that direction through serving the Vaishnavas and through being very honest with ourselves about how we can make further progress, accepting what is favorable to devotion, rejecting what is unfavorable to devotion, like that. But yes, prayojan is not, ultimately it's not a knowledge, it's an experiential state of surrender and love.
Can I ask one last question, please? So all like Sambandh, Abhiday, Prayojan, so they run in parallel. It is not like step by step.
No,
All
you can't, it's like it's you have to recognize where you are, and then you have to have some idea of where you want to go, and then you have to find the path to get there. So it's not like they're all
okay.
happening at once. It's orientation, right? You have to orienteering, navigation. They're connected to each other, but they're not all happening at once.
So in between this process, there is what we call like a sadhaka attains from sadhak day to siddha day, and even then there is there is higher stages. Or is it like when one reaches prayojan or his highest goal, if that is ever reached, that is the attainment of his siddha day?
It's not a static thing. It's not like here's the goal and eventually you get the goal, you pass by the flag and you attain the goal. It's not like that. It's an eternal process. It's ever, Krishna is navayovanam, ever fresh. So that means relationship of loving him is also ever fresh. So you want to talk about like Siddha, Svarup and all that. That's better not to speculate about those things. That's all
Okay.
that's all in our mind. We like to try to capture with our understanding. No, it's a relation. It's a relationship with what is other than ourself. Many times trying to just attain knowledge is a relationship with ourself ultimately. But we have to actually cultivate that relationship with what is other than ourselves by actually engaging in devotional service with the Vaishnavas. And in that way, it becomes a little uncomfortable sometimes because we have to step outside of ourself, step outside of our comfort zone. But that's where progress is waiting for us, outside of our comfort zone. And ultimately, this Siddha Svarup, that's all the highest thing.
Okay. So they are in prayojan.
They're in Prayojan. The Siddha Svarup is, yes, the perfectional form of any living entity is the attainment of that Radhadasyam, but that attainment of Radhadasyam is not passing a flag and then you got it. It's a eternally dynamic relationship that's constantly ever fresh, renewing, ever renewing. It's always an adventure of love, ever increasing love, which is pleasurable not only for Krishna, always also pleasurable for the soul, but the soul isn't looking for that pleasure in a self-centered way, although it gets it in that highest fulfillment. That's why Krishna wanted to come as Mahaprabhu, because Radharani was getting so much ecstasy, even though she wasn't looking for it. She was getting so much ecstasy from her service that Krishna was thinking, oh, she's having more ecstasy than I'm getting as the one who's being served. So let me come as Mahaprabhu.
That's why our goal is Radha Dasyam, which is the highest, because we get more pleasure than God Himself in one sense.
In one sense.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Shripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Acharya Dev Ki Jai. Jai Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the worldwide devotees, Sama Bhakti Veda Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai, Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Ju Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Giri Govardhan Gupta Govardhan Dham Ki Jai, Sham Kund Radha Kund Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Vrinda Devi Ki Jai, Jai Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Ki Jai, Jai Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai, Scientific Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai, Princeton Bhakti Vedanta Institute Ki Jai, Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari 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 Bol, Jai Bhakti Shivam Ki Jai, Jai Bhakti Chirag Ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
Bishop Guruji ki jai.
Jai Gurudev. Dhanyavad.